A lot of you guys in the forum have asked if I could make some kind of instruction video to how to use a multiplier. I'll try. The first thing about a multiplier reel is that the line, it's not it's reading off directly off the spool, unlike a lot of you guys have asked if I could explain how to use a multiplier. I'll try. Here I have a standard what can we call glide bait setup and a standard multiplier reel. Two things is important when using a multiplier reel. Of course, have appropriate line, it means thick line, and there's 3 brakes. There's an internal centrifugal brakes. It can be adjusted as well. It has 4 to 6 brake pads. I think normally I switch all on. That's one thing. Then you have a casting brake. I think here it says here. It's a small knob that you can, if I release the reel, I can tighten it. So the line barely goes off the spool. What you need to do is to adjust that first. What you do is you release the spool, and then you release your casting brake completely until you see the spool starts to get play in here. Then you tighten it again, just until you have reduced the play. Like that, you have a maximum spool, and it will break. You will still have sufficient braking power for your casts. So let's try to see if this works in practice. In the beginning, try not to, how you can say, whip it, because you will the bait will receive too much acceleration, and then there will be a danger to get an overrun. It's just very gentle movement in the beginning, out like this. That was step 1. Step 2 is that you will need to brake the spool with your thumb. The most important brake in a multiplier reel is your thumb. So what I'm doing during the cast, I keep my thumb on the spool and I still brake it a little bit, and when the bait hits the water, I block the spool completely. I know that some guys who's teaching who's showing how to use a multiplier reel, they almost tighten the brake, the casting brake, so tight that you actually can't get an overrun. That's also a possibility to do it, but I think it's better from the beginning to learn to use your thumb, because your thumb is alpha omega in learning how to be a good caster. Look again. Actually, when you have learned how to adjust your spool as in the beginning of the cast, during the cast, and when the bait hits the water, then you're on your way to be a quite good caster. See, I brake a little bit with my thumb still and block it. So actually I have my thumb on the spool during the whole cast. And even if you don't dare to tighten the casting brake too much, still get used to keep your thumb near the spool, because suddenly if you get a crosswind and you're playing with, you're casting a spinner bait or spinner or big crank or something, you can get caught in the wind and the line will immediately rises at your spool, and then it's important to block it with your thumb. Another aspect is the line. It's quite important when you cast with a multiplier that you have a stiff line, as stiff as possible, and a line like Spider Wire Ultracast is, I think, nearly the stiffest you can get for a braided line. the best thing for the beginner is actually to start with a monofilament line. They're stiffer, and the stiffer the line is, the better it casts with a multiplier reel. The problem with the braided line is, especially when it ages a little bit, it gets soft, and sometimes it can make small loops during the casts on the spool. You can't do anything about it, and the loops will emerge into a knot, and boom, and your cast get blocked in the middle. As it happens relatively rare, but this is one of the incidents you will not have with a nylon line, and it can be extremely annoying in the beginning. In the beginning I lost a lot of bait like that, also because I was advised from a Danish tackle shop to use so it's 10 or 20 pound braid, and that just snapped like that. But of course that's what they want. Then you come back and buy new baits. But I think a lot of the baits we use are expensive, so we should take care of them. So buy some good line. 80 pounds to 100 pounds. For the Europeans it would be something like 35 to 40 millimeter. That's a 0.35 to 40 millimeter. That's an appropriate line for casting these big pike baits. Now I want to fish a little bit, so have a good time.